I don't think this is the end of John. I am not.
Nobody thinks it's the end of Donald Trump. It could be the end for the Democrats. You're watching it happen in real time. I love how you say, you look at it, Akeem Jeffrey. Nobody thinks it's a fundraising email. As if it were a Republican, your party, the media would not interpret it in the worst light. For example, it's amazing how the brilliant Jasmine Crockett thinks there's only one Jeffrey Epstein, and that one Jeffrey Epstein somehow gave money to Lee Zeldin. No, I know this is hard to believe. There is more than one Jeffrey Epstein, just as if there are more than one Jesse Waters, but only one Greg Gutfeld. He was a doctor who gave money, but she knew that, unless you think she is retarded, and I don't think she is. I just think she's deliberately pretended that she didn't know there might be another one. So when I talk about this is what I say is the big worry about this thing, and I'm for the release of them. You look at how these idiots are going to try to interpret everything in the worst possible way. So if you're caught in that net and your name is Jeffrey Epstein or your name is Jesse Waters, something that could be easily checked out. I'm not saying you're in the files. I'm just saying there's a high likelihood you will be. They will be extremely malicious in their interpretation. So we have to be on our toes. I do think that, what's his name, Galloway? He's right. Be careful what you wish for, because when something seems too easy, it's a trap. And I think you just handed Trump a paintball gun, and you put targets on the Democrats because Epstein, I think 80 to 90% of his donations were all to Democrats. Epstein despised Trump. He was the only elite that wouldn't play ball with him. So, and then you look at like Larry Summers, you look at the, what's the billionaire? I can't remember. Reid Hoffman, you look at Bill Clinton, you look at Akeem, you look at the Virgin Island lady. It's only begun, and it looks bad for you guys. I think that this is going to be a fun winter for Trump, because once he goes in on this thing, he doesn't come out. He figured it out. He knows exactly how, when you guys bring it up, it's always going to go back to the Democrats every single time. And pretty soon you're just going to say, why did we do this? This is just like Russian collusion, but it's worse because now it ends with a huge, huge pile of mud all over us. The Russian collusion thing just went away. You guys were lucky you didn't go to jail.
I think mud is a generous way of putting it.
Gutfeld nails it. Woo! Are you guys having fun yet? Because it's getting saucy out there. What's going on, everybody? Are you guys ready? Because Trump did it tonight, man. He did it. I've been waiting for this night. Been waiting for a long time. It's exciting. I cannot wait to go through what's going on. I mean, yesterday, by the way, sorry I missed yesterday's live. My sister showed up unexpectedly from Georgia, so I ended up having family night, which was great. But I missed a big day of news, because the House and the Senate both passed the Epstein files, and tonight Trump signed it. Oh man, it's gonna get saucy. So I'm gonna do a little happy dance tonight, because I get to say I was right, and I know there's still more proof in the pudding. But I got to tell you, after Trump's message tonight, I feel very strong that we were right all along. Democrats fell into a trap that Trump laid for them, and it's only going to get uglier for them the rest of the summer and next year into the midterms. It's going to be a long, dark year for the Democrats and any other elites, but mostly Democrats involved with Epstein, and Trump will be exonerated, and it's going to get fun. So anyways, welcome guys tonight. American Fire. I am Ace. I'm your host. I will be taking you through all the Epstein stuff, why this is Trump at his finest, why he is just wiping the floor with the dumb Dems right now. It's glorious. He's back. We got our mojo back in MAGA. And it's a good night, but we got some economic news. Gonna go through all the wild things starting to happen now that the Epstein files have come out, and a couple other things as well. So stay tuned. We got a good show for you tonight. But first, before I get started, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Thank you for supporting the channel. I greatly Greatly appreciate you for doing that. If you're on X, if you hit that repost, I'd love you for it. I really would. Thank you so much. Let's say hey to the Chizat, and then we will get moving here fast. Wagga Waco. What's up, my friend? The one, what to do? Vince Feliz, Kim Wiley, Dave R, Frank Anastasio. What's going on? Nick Majors, Birdie, Mark R, Ryan, Steve Bernard, Steve King, Pat M, Kathy, what's going on? US1, Moody Waters, Just Mike, Cassink Gomez, wave the hand, CJ Yukon, what's up? Alice Fordham, Scott Volkovich, AZ Tropic over there on Rumble. We got Nels. You get the number one spot a lot, but not tonight, my friend. Blue 5, Mark R, Shogun, the DDI debut. Don't worry, it's coming for you, buddy. I got too much going on tonight, but we'll get you there. Bushidoki doesn't think Trump did this on purpose. That's okay. We can talk to that. I'm happy to answer those questions, but listen, I'll tell you this, Bushidoki, you're a little newer to the show, and that's great. I'm actually very excited you're here. Love new viewers, love all the new subs. But I gotta tell you that if you've been here a while, last summer I called it. I said this. What just happened, the way this is all unfolded, I said it was exactly what was going to happen. And I had a lot of people ditching on me, bailing out when Trump was first calling it a hoax and everything. And I told everybody, I said, you guys can bail, you guys can be upset, but I'm telling you, this is all a setup. And now it's unfolding exactly as I said it would. So just telling you guys, some of you who are newer, some of us did see this coming, and and it's fun, but it's okay to question away. You should question. If you need more proof, go for it. I lean on, what's up, Lochtfeld over on Rumble. I trust Trump. I always trust him. I do. He's earned it for me. After a decade, he's earned it. So I always trust him first over everybody else. Anybody in the media, including every single influencer, I trust Trump. Everybody else in the government, I trust Trump. Okay? Not trusting him more than my best friend, not trusting him more than my, people I'm close to. But as far as it goes in the media, in the influencer realm, in politics, you name it, I trust Trump. I trust him over every single other person. And so if it's a question between Trump and somebody else who's got a microphone, I trust Trump. That's all. And so that's why I always get to where I'm at. And honestly, it has served me very well, because 9.7 times out of 10, I guess I should just say 97 times out of 100, 97 times out of 100, by trusting Trump, you end up on the right side. That's just how it's been for the last 9.5, 10 years. And I don't think it's going to change. And I tell you guys, sometimes people are like, how do you get, like, you called it again. Well, I'll tell you my secret. You want to know my dirty little secret? I trust Trump. It's all you got to do. It's all you got to do. And he makes you look like a genius. So he didn't say it was done on purpose, but I just know it was. You can kind of tell how it all happened. What's up, Shogun? What's your fans? You'll get in, buddy. Zigrams, what's up? You quoting some scripture, huh, buddy? Thomas Dubois in the house. How you feeling, buddy? How's the cancer? I hope you're doing all right, man. But they are. Dems getting demolished. They walked into a trap, and they ain't ready for it. They are not ready for this, because they thought. Well, let me read the post. Let me read Trump's post tonight. And then we'll backtrack a little bit. But I'm telling you, I know how he speaks when he's excited. And look at that. First of all, you can just see by how much he wrote. He had a lot to say after he signed this. I'm going to read it. All right? I'm going to read it for you. And sorry, it's going to take a minute. Jeffrey Epstein. No, I'm not going to read it like that. He says, Epstein, charged by Trump Justice Department in 2019, not the Democrats. Beautiful first line. A lot of people don't know that, especially younger people. was a lifelong Democrat, donated thousands of dollars to Democrat politicians, deeply associated with many well-known Democrat figures like Bill Clinton, who traveled on his plane 26 times, Larry Summers, who just resigned from many boards, including Harvard, very true, sleazebag political activist Reid Hoffman, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who asked Epstein to donate to his campaign after Epstein was charged. We just found that out in the emails last week. Democrat Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett, and many more. Perhaps the truth about these Democrats and their association with Epstein will soon be revealed, because I have just signed the bill to release the Epstein files. You see what he did there? Perhaps the truth and their associations will soon be revealed. Perhaps. He's having fun. As everyone knows, I have Speaker of the House John Thune passed this bill House and Senate because this request votes were almost unanimous. At my direction, Department of Justice already turned over close to 50,000 pages. They're already releasing them. Don't forget, Biden admin did not turn over a single file or page related to Democrat Epstein, nor did they even speak about him. Democrats have used the Epstein issue, which affects them far more than the Republican Party, in order to try and distract from our amazing victories. By the way, we already know it affects them more. This isn't even Trump just like saying something. We already know it because what we have, it's way more Democrats than there are Republicans. In fact, I was watching Piers Morgan today. It was so glorious. And Piers challenged this person. He was like, hey, other than Trump, can you name one Republican in any of the files? And they were like, duh. Well, I guess I haven't read them all yet. They couldn't do it because it's none of them. It's crazy. I could have named one, I guess, Peter Thiel. But anyways, in order to distract from the amazing victories, I'll skip all this part. He's just rehashing all of his stuff. But for years, our great nation had to endure Russia, Ukraine, impeachment hoax 1, impeachment hoax 2, and many other Democrat-created witch hunts and scams, all of which have been so terrible and divisive and been done to confuse, deflect, and distract from the great job we're doing. Latest hoax will backfire on the Democrats, just as all the rest have. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, does this sound like a person who's bummed? Does this sound like a person who's scared of what he just did, who is somber? No, this sounds like a man who is finally, it's like the guy who's been holding a secret for months and a long time. And when he finally gets it out and it's finally out there, he's like, oh man, word salad, blah, 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 blah. Here's everything I've been wanting to say. And he's been holding it in. Now, last summer, when he called it a hoax, I told you guys, because I had a lot of mad people in here. Oh, he's a pedo defender. Donald Trump's in this. He's defending him. And I said, guys, chill out. He's calling a hoax the fact that they're saying he's in it. It's the situation that's the hoax, not the Epstein files. And I know you could say, like, you could blame and say, oh, well, his wording wasn't the best. But I'll tell you what. I think he did it all on purpose. Trump has the best political instincts of anybody in modern history. I can't think of anybody who had better political instincts. Maybe Reagan. Reagan was close, at least. But Trump has the best. And I think exactly what happened, Trump allowed people to freak out. Trump has said in the past, the thing that matters most to me is loyalty. Well, when loyalty matters more to you than anything else, you test the waters. Trump was seeing who would turn on him in the Republican Party. Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, seeing who's really with him, because he's got 3+ years left to go. He needs to know who's going to war with me. Weeded them out. And on top of that, he got the Democrats who, for the last 5 years, have been calling the Epstein thing a conspiracy theory, nothing to see here, move on with it, nobody cares. And then when they got a whiff of maybe Trump's in these files, maybe, oh, look, he's acting scared, they went all in. And all of a sudden it became their issue. Release the Epstein files. We're going to take down Trump. Got the entire world paying attention to it. Sucked everybody in. All the attention. Everybody who said Epstein files are nothing. Republicans are crazy. MAGA's crazy. MAGA's a bunch of conspiracy theorists. QAnon's a bunch of conspiracy theories. All these people who mocked and derided for years because of Epstein. Now we're calling for the files. Trump waited it out, let them build up their furor, kept letting them just dig deeper and deeper and deeper. And then at the last minute, what does he do on Sunday? I've decided, release the files. Gets them to whip through the House and Senate in a day. That's impossible. I can't even tell you the last time that happened with anything. It doesn't happen. Whip through the House and Senate a day. One person in the House voted against it. Nobody in the Senate voted against it. He signs it the next day, and now it's out there. And he has every Democrat's name on the paper saying, release these. And already there is fallout. And so you can say, hey, Ace, we don't see it. We don't see him saying they set him up. I get it. It's not right in your face. He can't say it, first of all. So it's never going to happen. But if you can see what happened, I said last summer, I think Trump's sucking them all in and he will pop this on them at the last minute. I said that. And I probably lost 10% or 15% of my viewers because they thought I was shilling for Trump because they were convinced he was in the Epstein files and was a pedo guy. They dumped out. And now I've been proven right. And I'm just saying that, yeah, we're never going to get him saying, I set you guys up. But I'm not the only one. There were those of us who could see it in real time because we trust the president. We did the work. That the timeline and the evidence of Trump and Epstein is pretty obvious where he stood. We knew that in 2004 he kicked Epstein out. We knew that in 2007 he helped blow the whistle on Epstein. The only person who did so in the circles, as the prosecuting lawyer attested. I've shown you guys the clip. We knew all this. It lines up. In 2015, before he's president, he's calling out Prince Andrew and the island. In 2019, he's the one who captures Epstein, takes him out of commission, hunts down Ghislaine Maxwell, forces the Biden administration to have to deal with that. All because of Trump. And every email that's come out has only corroborated this. Epstein, we just found out last week in 23,000 emails, hated Trump, was working with Michael Cohen to try and disrupt his campaign, to sabotage Trump. Afterwards, continually caught in lies about hanging out with Trump. How do we know those were lies? There's no communication with Trump recorded at all. B, the times Epstein says he's around Trump, we have the presidential calendar. We know exactly where Trump was on those days. The evidence is overwhelming because a president is fully tracked by everything because a Secret Service has to travel with them everywhere. You can't escape. You can't be secretive as a president. He can't just go hang out in New Mexico with Epstein on an off day. As one of the emails said, with Trump's here on Thanksgiving or something like that. You know how stupid that is? You can't, and there's people who believe it. But Epstein is a liar. And all we got over and over again was Epstein hated him. Epstein called him the worst person alive. Well, when the guy trafficking young girls and laundering money for people, billionaires, multi-billionaires doing crooked stuff, when he's the one calling you the worst person in the world, you're probably a pretty good dude. I'm just saying. But the Democrats fell for it. And now we have them on record, many of them, going out there defending Epstein, calling Trump terrible. We have the Democrats. I mean, they fell for it. And all that's come out It's stuff on Larry Summers, more on Bill Clinton, this Plaskett thing where she was texting Epstein as she's questioning Cohen in a hearing, asking him for advice in 2019, right before he's busted. Are you kidding me? This is insane, people. And Trump goaded them all in, and now he just flipped it on them. It is crazy. And it's, I mean, to me, I'm okay if you don't want to fully believe he trapped him. That's okay. You don't have to go there. But for me, from the beginning, it was obvious, and now it's even more obvious. And one way or the other, whether he trapped him on purpose or just lucked into it, they did get trapped. And now it's backfired on them. It's going to get wild, guys. It's going to get wild. Let's go a little further. Let me show you some of the stuff that happened today. First of all, here's Trump before he signed it today with the Saudi prince. This is, I had to show this. Watch Trump destroy this reporter. This is him building up for tonight when he signs this, but he destroys this reporter asking him about Epstein.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files I have nothing to do with Jeff Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me. But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's, your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC.
He's just going for it, man. But the fact, the calling out names, dropping names, saying the Democrats are obviously the ones, like they're the ones giving all the money. It's unbelievable. It's so good. I'm so here for it, because now we're going to have all the backup, all this coming out. Now they had, did my stream freeze? Sorry guys. I hope that didn't, my stream didn't freeze. Somebody said it did, but it looks like I'm good. Anyways, so you see what he was seeding, right? So last week was huge, because last week we got the 23,000 emails that the GOP Oversight Committee released. We went through a lot of those emails on this show. Really, really interesting stuff, and only the beginning. But those emails did show a lot of the interactions with Democrats, and it was always Democrats. It was always anti-Trump. Always, 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 without fail. And then we get Democrats already getting in trouble. Now, the House wussed out last night and didn't censure Plaskett for her talking to Epstein. It was so stupid. Just shows you how weak the Republicans are, because they cut a deal so they wouldn't censure. The Democrats went turn around and censure one of the Republicans. But good for Representative Anna Paulina Luna. She called out the nonsense, and she's calling for a censure of the Republican anyways, just to expose it. But that was so weak. It's disgusting. So, but this stuff is going to ramp up, and it does show you there are fighters in Congress who are actually going to do the right thing, which is going to only bring more pressure from the people. And the Republicans are weak enough where if the people are paying attention, it will start, they will actually start taking action. But Trump's already called for investigation into Clinton and several others over the Epstein files. And now that they're fully released, people are going to see these. Now, there will be some redactions. I fully expect them. What I'm praying for and hoping for is it's not too many. It's still, it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just to where it's like, it's kind of obvious. They, even the victims are like, please don't put too many victims' names in there, blah, blah, blah. So there's going to be some redactions. Mike Johnson, surprisingly, seemed very upset about this going through. So that makes you wonder about him. But Trump doesn't seem worried at all. Trump actually seems excited about this. I haven't seen him this energized over something like this, except for like when he was defending himself and Russia, a couple of the other hoaxes against him. And the reason Trump gets so amped up like this, you hear him speaking so fast and whipping right back at him, attack, because he knows he's defending himself and he feels confident in that. Just like all the others turned out to be hoaxes, he's never been busted on any of them. He's been vindicated on all of them, including even the 91 counts, the 35 felonies, all of it. He's been vindicated. It's like even the where he was found guilty or liable, like in that rape case, like everybody knows he didn't do it. They're just happy that he got a crazy jury that awarded that psychopath woman money. But I mean, we all know, and everybody with a brain knows, that you can just look at her and be like, yeah, she ain't Trump's type. But the Democrats are pushing the narrative, though, because they needed this one bad. And now that it's blowing up in their face, they are in big trouble, because if this one doesn't work, what else are they going to fall back on? That's what they're wondering. And like, you can see they're pushing this narrative. I mean, look at them all saying basically the same stuff. We have Shank, 2 ways to look at Trump crumbling on Epstein. He was responsive to his base, or now they had months to scrub the F out of those files. They don't mind releasing them. This guy, they delayed so they could scrub. They worked overtime to redact Trump's name. I firmly believe Bondi and Patel have been working to scrub. Krasenstein, Trump DOJ is scrubbing the Epstein files of Republicans. It's just everywhere. Everywhere. Look at this one. Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, just said Republicans are scrubbing the files. Oh, we're going to trust Epstein's brother now? I love how this is already forcing the Democrats to act as if Epstein is some sort of hero. How good does that make them look? They're hardcore lefty supporters. Democrats are, they're going to believe whatever they want to believe. You can't reach crazy. Let's just put it that way. The blue sky bubble is impenetrable. They've proven that. Bill Maher just proved that big time with Patton Oswalt on his show, where Patton Oswalt was just, Maher for all his faults, and he's got serious TDS. He does try to get some real news. And Patton Oswalt was just like, oh, I've never heard of that, on all kinds of stuff. And Maher just kept calling him out. Well, you live in the blue sky bubble. There it is again. Just kept calling it out. Well, that's what it is. And there are going to be a bunch of people who won't come aboard, won't believe. But I tell you what, there's going to be millions of Americans who see this and say, no. They'll actually read the emails. They'll see where there is redactions that it doesn't line up to be Trump's name that was redacted. People are smart. Trump's name's already not been redacted from 23,000 emails, and some of those standing on their own, if you didn't actually do the research or look at them, yeah, they looked kind of bad. But then you can easily debunk them, like I just said, the Thanksgiving one, if you just do 5 minutes of a Google search and look up the presidential calendar. It's easy. Smart people, it's easy. And what they will see while they're looking at to find Trump's name, they're going to see Bill Clinton. They're going to see Reid Hoffman. They're going to see Larry Summers. They're going to see all these people in there doing all these dirty things. They're going to see Obama's lawyer, worked in his Justice Department, setting up meetings with Epstein. They're going to see Democrats over and over again. And Hakeem Jeffries getting that $30,000 from Epstein. It's all over, and it's all Democrats. That's what the people will see. So the middle people who, and the other people will get, is the MAGA lights. The MAGA lights who voted for Trump, who wanted justice, who wanted to believe good things. And then what happened with them? They thought Trump was caught up with Epstein, so they bailed. They were weak. They were weak and pathetic, and didn't do their own research. All the libtard, and by libtards, I mean libertards, the libertarians all bailed because Trump was owned by Russia, or Trump's owned by Israel. Trump, you know what? He's going to get into a war with Iran. We're done. We didn't sign up for this. They're going to get troops on the ground. Israel owns them. Trump strikes in and out, leaves. It's over. Forces Israel to stop. Ends the Israel-Gaza war even when Netanyahu doesn't want to do it. No, he's owned by Israel, but he's also a pedophile. These idiots that voted for Trump, and then when they didn't get everything exactly the way they wanted, they couldn't control him, they bailed. Well, now where are they going to go? Because now they're going to look really, really stupid that they went all in on this, and it's going to backfill. So they'll, at the very least, provide probably a vote again coming soon, or at least they'll be shut up, and we have this hanging over their heads now, because this is a major loss. Everybody who is so certain Trump was in these files, it's a major, major loss for them. And anybody with self-respect will own it and say, wow, I'm glad he's not in it. I was wrong. That's the real man thing to do. That's what you do if you're a true adult, secure in your identity. Say, I was wrong. Dang, I'm glad I was wrong. Now we can get back to winning. We can get back to America first. We can get back to taking this on. This distraction is over. By the way, Democrats, you're more disgusting than we ever thought. That's where we're headed. But man, you can tell them they are trying to put out fires right now. The narrative was released. They gotta get this done. They gotta try to get something out there. And let's call out the other people who are ridiculous, like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie. Here's Jordan Sather with a quick word on them.
Riddle me this about Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene, Batman. They've been running a crusade on releasing the Epstein files. That's all well and good. But they decided to run to the fake news to air their grievances and suggest Trump is a pedophile protector. And the fake news outlet they run to is ABC News. But you remember back in 2019 when ABC News was exposed for killing a story on Epstein's trafficking ring. Leaked footage of ABC journalist Amy Robach had her admitting this. So to paint Trump as a pedophile protector, Massie and MTG run to pedophile protecting network ABC to do it. Something is amiss here. Should we release the Epstein files and expose the network? Fuck yeah. But there's definitely some virtue signaling politicians using this Epstein thing as a political psyop. That's the hoax Trump is referring to. And just remember, Epstein never would have been arrested and barely anybody would know about him if Trump didn't win in 2016.
100% true. Thank you, Jordan. MTG has gone off the deep end. And, Trump tells you, Trump tells us who we can trust. And again, you have to understand you have to make a decision, because we are in a psyop. We are in a political war, and there's way more going on behind the scenes than any of us know. And because none of us know, except those at the very, very top, those in the deepest, darkest places, they're the only ones who know everything's going on. Okay? I'll tell you right now. Alex Jones doesn't know everything that's going on. He sure acts like he does. And that's why a lot of his stuff ends up wrong. That's why he brings on crazy people onto his show. That's why he has to backtrack a lot or make up stories about why something didn't happen. Alex gets a lot of stuff right because he does have some sources. I'm not knocking on Alex Jones, but I am telling you, there is not one person in the media, in the influencer realm, who knows everything going on. There are only people fighting the battles on the front lines who know everything that's going on. A lot of them are the bad guys. I'm talking City of London types, European Union types, the bankers behind the scenes. I'm talking Jeffrey Epstein probably knew most of it. Elon Musk, some of the guys at the very top, although Elon probably doesn't know it all either. But you know what I mean. I'm talking the elites of the elites. The powerful of the powerful are the only ones who know everything that's going on. And a lot of them are pawns directly underneath, which includes most of Congress. So When I see people who are picking somebody like Thomas Massie to trust, when all I see over and over again is Thomas Massie fighting Trump on the most important stuff, I'm like, I think you're crazy. And I think Massie's easily exposed as a fraud. I've chosen Trump to trust, and it keeps working out for me. So when Trump says Massie's bad, I believe him. I can also see it. He's very frustrating. When Trump calls out Marjorie Taylor Greene, I believe it. When Trump defends Tucker Carlson, as he did the other day, that tells me Tucker's still on the in. And this is the only way to navigate this stuff is choose who to trust. Now, you could choose who to trust and not agree with me. You might have somebody you trust more than Trump, and that's fine. That's not my decision. But I'll ask you this. How many times has Trump been validated versus that person? And that's what you have to decide. But I'll tell you what, or he's making a mistake. But then months later, sometimes weeks, sometimes months later, he's validated. And that has been why I've been able to hang on and trust him through the darker times. So when I see Massie, what he just did, siding with Democrats to try and ruin Trump, when I see Massie helping Biden get his budget passed, when I see Massie never brought up Epstein except for one tweet in 2022, and then went after it full bore once Trump started campaigning again, I know Massie's a fraud. Well, I know Massie's like, I'm the only guy not funded by AIPAC, but one of his other big donors is a major Israeli businessman tied to some shady stuff in Israel. I'm like, okay, buddy, you play that game. It's not hard to find the stuff out. Marjorie Taylor Greene comes on the scene, acts full MAGA, does some great stuff. I love her at first. And then the weird stuff starts happening. She's one of the biggest insider traders on the Hill. Took her fortune up to over 25 million from a few $100,000 just a few years ago. She's like Nancy Pelosi's baby when it comes to insider trading. Her daughter. Other weird stuff with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Stands with Massie in front of all the protesters directly in front of a sign that says Trump's a pedo. Yeah, I don't trust that. And then Trump calls her out directly. By the way, she's also making this media tour. ABC killed the story. This has been long well known. The ABC reporter, this is about 7 years ago, super frustrated. She had the whole story. They killed it, wouldn't let it air. Today, the clip I showed you with Trump just happened. That was ABC. Challenging Trump, trying to rough him up over this. ABC, well known, evil newsroom. They've been running the deep state ops for a long time. They all do, but ABC's a little bit further in, it looks like. I don't know this for certain. I'm not there, but I can tell you by the evidence we see. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene goes over to ABC and hangs out in The View. I don't know. That's some weird stuff. I got to tell you, weird stuff. I do not trust these people. And again, if Trump calls them out, then I'm on Trump's side. So Bushido asks, who was Ari was right jar has more coins, Trump's or Alex Jones? Well, let's just go back the last 9 years. Trump, 100%. 100%. Rum Dog says he trusts me. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I really do. So let's look at some of the fallout. Like already, Larry Summers. So he announced today, after all the stuff coming out over the emails, this is okay. Some of you might not even know who Larry Summers is, and that's okay. That's for us political nerds to know, political or economist nerds to know. Larry Summers is a big freaking deal up on the Hill. He is. He has been the point man for Democrat economic policy for about 20 years. He was Clinton's Treasury Secretary, one of the biggest positions in the nation. He worked directly for Obama. He advised the Biden team. This guy is a big, big deal with Democrat circles. And the way the Democrats work, when somebody's like this and they keep coming up, they have a lot more power than you think. A lot more power than some of the people out in front of everybody. One of the most powerful people in the Democratic Party today. Not only did he announce he's stepping down for public appearances yesterday, today he announced resigning from OpenAI's board. That's ChatGPT. Resigning from the biggest AI company in the world. Ooh, that's got to hurt. And then today, took his leave. See, he said originally he was going to leave his public appearances, but keep teaching at Harvard. You know, this guy was president of Harvard for a time. Said he was going to keep teaching. Today announced he's leaving teaching as well. This is the fallout that's starting to happen. The censure of Plaskett happened last night. Didn't happen. Bummer. But it's ramping up. Hakeem Jeffries, you better believe that story is going to keep pushing. Even Caitlin Collins from CNN. Oh, Caitlin, who always goes after Trump, was trying to go after Jeffries to his face about it, and all he could do was mumble through it. It's coming back on them hard already, and it's brilliant. And this is barely started. Meanwhile, Trump, he's in the White House right now, doing the Trump dance, listening to YMCA. Probably, he doesn't drink, but he's probably got some sparkling cider in a little champagne glass, hitting up the other people in the White House, being like, we did it. We did it. We're here. And he knows it's going to keep going. Scott Adams, who understands persuasion better than anybody. I'm not going to play this clip because it's 8 minutes. I wish it was smarter, but he calls it out today. And I always look at Scott for how Trump's messaging is going, because Scott has known from the beginning how good Trump is at this stuff. And Scott calls out the misfires. I've always appreciated that about him. I think Scott is the best at understanding where Trump's moving, where the momentum is. And he called it out today. Trump went from flailing on Epstein to a persuasion kill shot. By pinning it as a Democrat problem, Clinton, Summers, Hoffman, and goading the media to keep asking, he's weaponized repetition plus visuals into something unstoppable. Quote, he's going to have repetition. He's going to have visual. He's got now control of a narrative because it's just an interesting thing to talk about. He's successfully branding this as a Democrat problem. And there it is, guys. It's happening. The script has flipped. Now, not everybody's there yet, but I can tell you, everybody who's persuadable, who's in the middle right now, has gone from, it's Trump and the Epstein files, oh, dang it, he's protecting himself, to now there's at least a crack in the logic and at least a question in their head saying, what if it was Democrats all along? And that's all you need. Because once you get the question in there, once you break the assurance, all of a sudden more can come in and minds can be changed quickly. So this is going to pick up very quickly. And we're already seeing stuff really play out in the way the justice is. Well, look at this real quick. Look at this. So on the smaller scale, today, network of California Democrat Party insiders under investigation for fraud. Again, Democrats. DOJ indicted Democrat Congressman Sheila Sherfulis McCormick for allegedly stealing $5 million in FEMA funds. Democrat, again, busted. It's just going to keep happening. Pam Bondi today. Bondi exposed DOJ probe confirms the Biden administration supported child sex trafficking networks funneling $7 million to a smuggler who raked in $18 million by illegally bringing kids across the border. It's all coming out, guys. It's all coming out. There's no shield of protection over the Democrats anymore. The Republicans, who have been very corrupt, don't get me wrong, many of them were, but Trump and MAGA have mostly weeded that out. Most of the worst people in the Republican Party are gone now. They've either retired or been busted. Trump sent them out. And we're still doing some cleanup, but most of them are gone. He's going after people like Bolton, who is technically a Republican, John Bolton. So it's happening still. But the worst party is the Democrats, who've been protected so long. And I'm telling you, people who are like, where's the arrests? Well, it's a buildup. You start small. We've already indicted Comey, Brennan, Schiff, Letitia James. I mean, that's happening. But on the lower scale, you're also weeding out the little people, and it'll just keep moving up to the top. And then Epstein files are going to bring a lot more evidence and exposure and a lot more public will to do it, to knock it out. All right, let me catch up with a couple of, I see a lot of comments in the chat. I'm going to catch up with a couple of these first, and then we're going to keep going on. Yeah, Vince, I'll talk about that in a little bit. Jamie Dimon, I haven't seen, so JP Morgan Chase Bank has had to pay out several Epstein victims several years ago. In fact, it was a $500 million settlement in a civil suit where they paid out Epstein victims. So yeah, there was some Jamie Dimon ties. I don't know if they'll tie it directly to him, but there is ties to Chase Morgan. You knew it was going to be a great week. Alan says, I see a problem. There's more fighting in our Big Ten. Need to stop this. Well, this will help stop this really quick, Alan. And then the next part that'll help stop it. So the big fighting in MAGA right now, the reason it's been so chaotic has been Epstein. Epstein really started it. And once Epstein stuff, people started doubting Trump. People started wondering if Trump was in it. That started a lot of shakiness in MAGA. And then once that part got shaky, then they really ramped up the Israel stuff. But I'm telling you right now, if the Epstein stuff hadn't have happened the way it did, the Israel stuff never would have gained traction the way it did. Because Epstein, in the beginning, the way they attacked Trump with it, it broke some trust. And so after that, it became, the Israel narrative was easier to pull. But the Israel's over right now. We're not talking about Israel right now. Gaza is settled. You're not hearing Israel in the news anymore. So that's going away. And the longer that stays away, the more people be like, they'll forget about it. The Epstein stuff, proving Trump isn't in there, going after Dems, that's going to fire up MAGA again, bring us back together, and bring in the people who are wondering. Their doubts will be gone now. So that'll help bring back MAGA. And the final thing that will bring back MAGA in time for the midterms is the economy, which I'm going to talk about that in a minute here. And I'm going to show you why I think 2026 is going to be a great year for the economy by the end of the year. It's going to build up, it'll start turning strongly by the time the midterms come along, in time to save the midterms. So I'm not worried about that yet. I'm not worried about MAGA fracturing. I think we're already in the middle of fixing it. Vince says Steven Crowder and Bannon have good service. I'll tell you what, Bannon plays it pretty, I will say, Bannon's emails with Epstein are pretty concerning. I don't like how chummy he was, but Bannon also, he's willing to go into the darkness and play both sides. So I'm not condemning Bannon yet, but I do want a little more information because it was a little too chummy for my likes. Having said that, Bannon generally is pretty good, although I don't always love everybody he has on. And Crowder has been batting very solidly. I haven't. Crowder, I doubt sometimes his personal character, but his stuff on his show has been pretty good. Let's see. ABC is owned by Disney. That's correct. Thomas Dubois, ban stock trading. Oh, they're already talking about it. MTG's pissed because Trump told her if she ran for governor or senate, she gets smoked. I know. Her poll numbers were 8%. That is true. But that's not the only reason. Trump also knew that she's just not who she comes across to be. It's true. Let's see here. Diet Coke and a champagne glass. You're right. Well done. Matthew asks, so why didn't he do it for the beginning? I'll tell you why, Matthew. I don't think he was protecting him. I think he was setting him up. I already talked about it at the beginning, but the quick answer, Matthew, of why it took him so long to get here is because if you remember last year and the beginning of this year coming in, all the Democrats ever said was Epstein was a joke. It was a conspiracy theory. That's all they ever said. And so if Trump had just gone ahead and released everything all at once, the Democrats and the people in the middle who all believed it was just some conspiracy theory, they would have all dismissed it as some big smear. They would have. They would not have been as invested. There wouldn't have been the attention on it. And they would have played it off as like this big, oh, look what Trump's doing. He's just releasing this to get the Democrats. There wouldn't have been the people actually paying attention to be interested what's actually in the files. They just would have let the narrative be fully controlled by the Democrat politicians and the media. And that's the only attention they would have paid. But now, by waiting, Trump sucked in everybody's attention. Because this is massive. This can take down, depending how bad it is, can take down a large portion of the Democratic Party and severely weaken them even further, more than they were after last year's election, which is massive and could set them back a generation. So what do? You let them think for a time that you're hiding it, that you're protecting it. It's genius. And I know not everybody wants to believe that Trump's like some 4D chess player sometimes. That's fine. I don't care. You can just say but there's no one who can deny he has the best political instincts. Anybody who's paid attention to Trump the last 9 years knows the man has the best political instincts of anybody out there. How many times has he pulled the rug out on the media, on Democrats, you name it? Over and over and over again, he ends up the winner. Over and over again. There's no denying this. His political instincts are ironclad. So even if he didn't plan it out, but his instincts were just to, let's wait on this. Well, one way or the other, he ended up being right. And so you can be upset as much as you want, but what he did is he brought longer term justice, because now the people are invested. It's not just 50% of MAGA or 30% of MAGA that really wanted this. It's now all of MAGA is invested in this, and a large portion of everybody else, whether it's moderates, Democrats, you name it. People paying attention who never would have cared before. And that gives you power with the people much more than before. And now that they're paying attention, they're actually reading these emails, they're invested in them, and they're going to realize the rug was pulled out on them, that the Democrats lied to them. They sucked them in, got them all excited. We're going to take down Trump. That would not have happened if Trump had just released him in the first place. They wouldn't have been crushed. This will be much, much more deflating, demoralizing to the Democrats than it would have been if Trump had just released him in March. And that's just a fact. And so you can be upset it didn't happen earlier. You can be skeptical, but you cannot debate the results. It's obvious. It's obvious. So whether or not we got here because Trump planned it out or his instincts were just good, we won. And we're winning much bigger because we waited. That's just a fact. So, that's fine. You don't have to care if anybody's. Listen, Larry Summers, one of the biggest people in the Democratic Party, his whole career was just ruined. And that's just based off the emails last week. Wait and see what happens, man. Wait and see what happens. Bushdoki says Trump's a very forgiving man. Trump's very forgiving when people show remorse and are willing to make amends. Let's see. What's next for Clinton after refusal? The Republicans are going to be weak. They're not going to go after him. Yeah. Chase was Epstein's banker. That's what I said. As soon as Dems lose something, they'll pull the side again. That's true, but it's not going to work this time. Too many people are paying attention. He runs a country like a business, which is fantastic. Says back to the retro. Absolutely, buddy. It's good to see you, man. How you doing? Okay, let's go through a little more. So there's so much happening. I mean, again, it's like I get the whole argument. I get the frustration. Nobody's in jail yet. I honestly, I don't. I mean, I get why people feel that way. I don't think it's logical. I think it takes time to make these things happen. We've seen indictments already. Again, we're getting all these people exposed. There will be lots of people going to jail soon. Lots of people's careers ruined. And that's just a fact. And then we have, Stephen Miller saying stuff like this, where we're going after the cartels now. Maybe on land, we've designated some of them terrorists. I love this. We're defending the homeland by exterminating cartels instead of going in the Middle East. It's exactly right. That's how it should be. We're seeing justice, guys. We're seeing justice. How about this? Dan Bongino today, taking down the 764 network, which is a major child exploitation ring. So they're calling them out. They're catching them all over. I mean, this is stuff I want to see. Children being protected. This is real justice. It's just not big names. And so you have to ask yourself, do you care more about just getting a name in jail, or do you care about criminals getting busted? We're seeing it all over. And the big names are losing all of their leverage in life. And Trump, I'll tell you right now, a lot of these people, if he went after, say, Obama right now, busted him on something without taking the time to really build out the case. Do you realize, like, if he brought Obama in right away, that he would have to be tried most likely in a DC court where it's 93% Democrats. So the jury's going to be completely Democrat and corrupt judges. It'll waste the time. He'll get off. So you have to do this the right way, and it's slow. It's slow, and that's hard. But at least we can be doing all the other cleanup while we're waiting for that, and that's what's happening right now. We're going after the major drug lord. They announced today this $15 million bond against Ryan Wedding, who's the modern-day Pablo Escobar, they're calling him. I mean, the point is there's a lot going on, guys. Kristi Noem saying Democrats. Well, actually, I'll let Kristi say this one because this is a big one. And this will lead to a lot more Democrats going down, because this one actually really involves big political people.
So it's amazing to me the hundreds of millions of dollars that have been spent by the federal government that has been sent to NGOs to facilitate this invasion of our country. So I've taken action to stop those funds, to reevaluate them, and to make sure that we're actually using the taxpayer dollars in a way that strengthens this country, that keeps us safe. So I think people are curious when we look at grants that are given out by federal agencies at how they're utilized, and that evaluation needs to be done. We're not spending another dime to help the destruction of this country. We're going to make sure that we follow through on what President Trump has promised, and that's to make sure that we're securing our border, departing those who are here illegally, and committing criminal actions, and that our taxpayer dollars aren't spent to help it.
And Madam Secretary, I don't think people fully understand the role that NGOs play, many NGOs play, in facilitating illegal immigration. I just want to share these numbers with everybody up on the screen. We spend over $380 million, did in 2024, for sheltering and service programs for illegal immigrants. But the vast network of NGOs that help facilitate it through Panama, through Mexico, and make it a landing spot here in the United States is a massive contributor here to illegal immigration. So what you're telling us today is that now stops? At least the federal funding of that stops? Mm-hmm.
Yes, through the Department of Homeland Security, we have stopped spending those dollars to fund those NGOs. And, well, what's been so revealing is that many of these NGOs actually have infrastructure and operations set up in Mexico on that side of the border that are telling those illegal immigrants to come to them, and they will get them across the border. So they're not just operating in the United States, they're operating outside of the United States to help make it easier for those who want to break our laws.
Right.
And well, I was one of those Americans that years ago, when somebody said NGO to me, I thought, oh, that's amazing. That's a nonprofit that's out there telling somebody about Jesus or spreading faith and salvation or doing good work and charitable work, helping people that are less fortunate. And then I realized over the years it's been perverted into this shadow government. An NGO is sometimes an operation that does things that the government cannot do, can't legally do. So they create an entity to use government dollars, taxpayer dollars, to do something that the federal government isn't allowed to do.
How crazy is that? The words she used, you notice that? Shadow government. Shadow government using the web of NGOs to undermine and topple the constitutional republic. My God. I mean, that's crazy. And listen, I get it. It's not arrests. Okay. It's not the big splashy headline a lot of people want. Okay. I get it. I'm sorry. If you're frustrated over that, I can't help you. And Matthew, I love you, buddy. We're allowed to disagree. We've done it before and we still get along great. You're one of my favorites. Don't worry. I like it. You know, disagreement sharpens me. But I will say that I see justice happening everywhere right now. And the problem is that there's so much corruption. There's so much to be cleaned up. And many of us have not experienced it. We've only seen it from above, and we've gotten some of the trickle down. But at the ground level, this stuff's happening all over the place. And that has to be stopped. It just does. Most of the bad stuff that's happened to our country has happened behind the scenes, not in front of it. And so while, yes, I am stoked for the day that if I ever get to see it, the Clintons in prison or in handcuffs, Obama, Brennan, Comey. I mean, we're getting close on a couple of those. But yeah, I want to see the bigwigs go down. I really, really do. Adam Schiff. I mean, there's so many of them. But will we get some of the biggest ones? I don't know if there'll ever be arrests. I just don't. But I can tell you that if we can't get them arrested, we can ruin them for the rest of their lives, their reputation, their ability to make money, all of it. And that is one of the things that Trump is actually doing, is taking away the money. He took away USAID, USAID, defunded them. He's taken away these NGOs' money. Scott Bessent has talked about how they're pursuing all the network of money that's funding Antifa and so on and so forth. This is justice. It's not flashy. It's not the thing you write home about, but it's what real justice looks like. It's like people who wanted to be a cop because they think there's going to be all this action, and most of the time it's just paperwork. That's just really what it is. You want to be a detective? It's exciting. No, it's super boring, but it's really awesome when it pays off and you finally catch that guy or you save that person. That's why it's worth it. And this is what that's like. The real work is being done, and we got to listen to these people telling us what's happening. It really is good stuff. So I get it, Matthew, but I also I strongly disagree with you. Bushidoki says, I'm surprised at how many women show they have more balls and backbone than a lot of men. Trump picked great women. He did. Alan asks, when did NGOs start? I mean, they've been going on forever. But for one thing, we just called them nonprofits before. We didn't always call them NGOs. But yeah, they've been going on for a long time. But they really, really ramped up in the past 20 years because Obama was the king of funneling dark money. Him and the Clintons. And so it started a little bit with the Clintons, like on the Democrat side, but they were mostly involved in their own stuff, enriching themselves, like with the Clinton Foundation, so on and so forth. It was Obama, and it was going on before that, don't get me wrong. Like there's a lot of little foundations here and there, politicians, rich people, but the Obamas were like, this is what we're going to use to get our agenda passed. And they ramped it up. So, and if I believe I'm right on that. If I'm wrong, somebody can correct me and show me even more. But I know that the Obama administration really did. Remember, he became popular for being a fundraiser for Acorn, getting all those fake votes for Democrats. That's how Obama made his name in Illinois back in the day. So Obama is all about the NGOs. Alan says, I want Soros. Oh, 100%. The problem with Soros is he's abroad. So Soros is not here on our mainland. So if we're going to get Soros, he would have to be in a country that would extradite. And so that would be a tough one to get. But we can bankrupt him, which I believe the Trump administration is already working on. His son is here, though. Okay. Other big news today. Let's go through a couple things here that's happening. But listen, before I move on, I just want to say that, guys, the whole Epstein thing is still going to play out. We haven't seen everything in the files. We don't know how bad it's going to be for Democrats. We don't know if it's going to cause Trump any issues. I can't say any of that 100%. I can tell you I feel very confident it's not going to hurt Trump. I can tell you very confidently I believe it's going to exonerate him even further and hurt Democrats more. I can tell you all that. I feel very strongly about that. I might be wrong because I don't know what's in those files. I can tell you what's already happened is very bad for them. And it's already exonerated Trump a lot. And so I'm just believing we're going to get more of that. And Trump, again, I'm trusting him. And so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'll eat crow. But I really don't believe I'm wrong. I believe the tide just turned tonight. And I believe Trump's post, which is so excited and so many words, proves it. This is an excited man. This is somebody who's pumped about what he just did and had to spill some beans about it. And so I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this plays out and how justice keeps moving through the political system and with the wind at their back. See, the Epstein stuff did tie up the Trump administration for a little while. They were still doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but in public, because Trump played the villain for a little bit, or at least the shadow guy, like, is he the villain? Is he covering for people? He forced the true MAGA diehards like myself to back him up for a while. He put us in this position. But now, if this all comes out the way I think it's going to, and which it's already started last week, the wind at their back, it's going to really ramp things up. And I think Trump timed it. Another reason I think he waited, Matthew and anybody else wondering, another reason I think he waited is because by waiting, he made sure all this happens closer with the midterms in mind. Because if he'd released it all last March, that's almost a year ago. Then they had the big, beautiful bill. They had all the wars ending. There would have been so much other distraction to just move us on from it. But now, because the Democrats just won that election, because they just did the shutdown, all eyes were on, the Democrats are coming back and MAGA's reeling. And now he does this. Now, I mean, the timing is kind of perfect to bring MAGA back together. And now that we're in a new election cycle, because the last elections just ended, and now it's less than a year till the midterms, now this will be fresh on people's minds in the midterms. So that's another reason why waiting was smart. Yeah, we had a special place kicked out for treason. I love that. I always ask, do they want it done quick or they want it done right? 100%, Kat. And yeah, Matthew, listen, I want to see arrest for treason too. I do. We'll get there. I do think we'll see some. I don't know if you'll get everybody you want, but I believe one way or the other, even if they're not arrested for treason, there's going to be busts for other stuff. Okay. Trump has got a lot going on. And I think it's interesting when all this comes out at the same time. Epstein files today. We also got today that Trump has approved a 28-point peace plan between Russia and Ukraine. And here's what this doesn't say. Russia has already signed off on it. That's a big deal. So the pressure right now, Trump is going to put all the pressure on Zelensky to accept it. And it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. Trump said in his interview yesterday, watch, I think we'll have another war ended before Christmas. I think he feels pretty good that they're about to end this. Talk about another major feather in the cap. Talk about momentum building. If he ends Ukraine, Russia, that's going to be interesting. Ukraine, Russia also is the big war that the globalists, the cabal, the Soros types are still hoping they can ramp up to suck us into. It's our money was being used there. They want to destroy Russia. They want to eventually take it out, but they also want to keep the wars going and that money funneling. But Trump got really smart. And he stopped sending money. He stopped sending weapons, started forcing Europe to pay for it. So NATO now has to pay for the weapons, which is slowly bankrupting Europe. And now we're come to another peace opportunity because the pressure is mounting. Europe's running out of money. Ukraine's running out of people. The latest is over in Europe is that they're having trouble keeping their banks lined up. I think it was the ECB just said that they can't lend anymore, or they have to put it on hold. Crazy stuff, guys. Crazy stuff. So it's building. We'll have to watch and see how that plays out. Really interesting here. Remember this summer, Elon and Trump fighting? Elon saying, oh, by the way, Trump's in the Epstein files. Look how buddy-buddy they are all of a sudden. Oh, is it possible we got a little kayfabe this summer that it was all a game? I got to tell you what, they did it pretty well, because for a little bit there, I actually thought Elon had burnt the bridge. But remember when Elon posted that Trump won't release the files because he's in them? And then he took it down, but just long enough to get more people sucked in. I'm just telling you guys. I mean, if Trump didn't really plan this, if they did not set this up, my God, they did a good job falling into it on accident. They're still getting down to their best friends again. This is at the White House last night, them buddy. And Elon posed this today. I would like to thank Trump for all he's done for America and the world. Does this sound like a man who's still mad at Trump? No, he's all the way back in. All the way back in. Isn't that crazy? I'm telling you guys, everything that happened last summer is starting to look like it was all just a game. It was all a political game. Remember, everything's a psyop. Everything's a psyop. Alan says that the Putin hit squad takes Soros. I mean, you know what? That's a good point. Putin might get him because Putin hates Soros too. Do I think Trump forecasted we would be in a great place by the 250th birthday of America? I don't know if he forecast it. I believe that was his plan, and I think it's panning out. You know, because here's the thing. I don't believe Trump's got like some godlike, king power to control everything behind the scenes. I don't believe that. There are people who love Trump who believe that. They believe that everything is just predetermined because we've already won and it's just playing out. I don't subscribe to that theory, but I do believe we are winning, and I do believe we've won the biggest battles, and now we're fighting smaller battles along the way to finish things. That's what I believe. I do believe it's still possible we could lose. I think it's unlikely. I think a lot would have to go wrong, but because I think the momentum's on our side. And I do think the Trump administration still has to run operations in order to keep winning. But I do believe they hold most of the cards. And that's what I believe happened with Epstein. As for the economy, I don't believe Trump was just always like, oh, it'll be fixed by 2026. I don't think that was a guarantee. But I think his plan was get the big, beautiful bill passed. I'll deregulate like crazy. And then we'll get the tariffs going. And as long as the Supreme Court upholds them, we're going to be good. We're going to have everything in place. That's what I believe happened. I believe they have some backup ideas as well. So that's how I believe it's playing out. I believe we won the biggest battle, which was last election, which turned the whole tide of this war we're in to get back America. I believe we're winning big. And I believe Trump is outsmarting them at every turn, almost every turn. Maybe he's lost a couple small things here and there in the public, but never anything major. I believe he holds the cards. I believe his team is much better. I believe he came back with a much better team and a plan for term 2. And I do believe he's getting the wins that he needs. That's what I believe is happening. But like, if we lose the midterms next year, I don't think it's over, but I think it's going to really hurt. Okay. But we'll still have the presidency. We'll still have the Senate. So, we can still win, but it's going to be a setback and a major one. It'll slow things down a couple years. So, it's still a fight. The war is still going on. But the last election, 2024, was the Battle of Gettysburg. And if any of you know your Civil War history, the South was winning the war until Gettysburg. And in Gettysburg, this massive battle lasted many days. The North finally won and set the South reeling. And after that battle, the North was still winning, but the war still had to play out for a couple years before it was finally over. But the South was basically on defense the whole time after that. And that's what we're doing. So I don't think it's over. I don't think like Trump has just got everything predetermined. He's not all powerful, but we're in the winning spot. Groom says, I called Elon and Trump spat was fake burger last summer. A lot of people did actually, but a lot of people didn't. Bushidoki, Trump's a Bachelor of Science and Economics, 50 years in experience in real economy. I think he knows, yeah. Bushidoki, if Trump pulls this off and turns his country around, I think he takes second place for greatest president after Washington. I don't know if historically, because of the way we elevate presidents, if he could ever be more than third. It's going to be really hard to get above Washington and Lincoln. And I know there'll be people who say that, and there's a lot of people who debate Lincoln's. That's fine. But I'm just saying in terms of history and the way we look at things from a more pop culture, practical standpoint, like the people who don't go deep into history, he'll be hard to ever beat Lincoln. Yeah, he plays the Sum of All Fears songs all over the place. Yep. Yeah, Gettysburg, July 4th. That's right. Isn't that crazy? Another July 4th. That's a big date in history. The one big beautiful bill got passed July 4th. I mean, that's, obviously the Declaration, but okay. A couple other things to look forward to. And then I'm going to end on a little thing about the economy and what we're seeing for 2026 and why I think 2026 is going to be a barn burner by the end of the year. This is going to be interesting. We're going to have to watch this. Trump and Mamdani are meeting this week. So that's going to be fantastically entertaining. Did you guys see what Trump did here? What's he call him? The communist mayor of New York City has asked for a meeting. He just calls it. It's part of his title now. Communist mayor. I mean, my God, people, if you don't love Trump, what are you doing? In fact, if you guys haven't seen this, what are you doing? This is the other thing that happened that Trump did this week that was hysterical.
You got to find out what did he know with respect to Bill Clinton, with respect to the head of Harvard, with respect to all of those people that he knew, including J.P. Morgan Chase.
Sir,
Yeah,
if
Jennifer,
there's nothing incriminating in the file, sir, why not acting as a...
Quiet, Piggy.
Quiet, Piggy. Oh, man. Apparently that woman's name's Peggy, and maybe he was saying Peggy, but still it's funnier if he said Piggy. So anyways, Trump's just the best. Communist mayor and I are meeting. Piggy. It's so good. And listen, this guy's crazy, okay? We already knew Mamdani was crazy, but check this out. He's going to require all New York elementary school students to learn Arabic numerals. Man, I hope the state steps in and overrules him on that, because that's insane. That we would have the biggest city in our nation, the most important city in our nation, maybe in the world, teaching its students Arabic numerals. So New York is in a bad place, but this kind of thing, guys, believe it or not, is good for the Republicans, for MAGA heading into the midterms and in 2028, because this is the kind of stuff. This is a 90 to 95, well, probably not 95. This is an 85-15 issue in America, because there's 15% of people who are crazy. 85-15% issue. And this is the kind of thing that's going to, it's almost like, as insane as he is, it's almost like he's a plant to make things look worse for the Democrats. But anyways, that's crazy. Okay, let's go to the economy. By the way, guys, I haven't said it this whole time, but if you're enjoying the show, please subscribe. I do this show 4 or 5 times a week. I missed last night. I'll be back on tomorrow. Members, I will make up the live to you guys. I'll owe you one. But yeah, I do this show. And if you guys enjoy it and you're new here, please subscribe. I'd love to have you, and please jump in the chat. I'd love to take your questions or your comments. And if you really like it and you want to join the membership, get in the description, or if you're on X, go to my profile, go to the pinned post, click that link, and you will get a free month to my Patreon, where you can get members only lives, as well as access into the Discord, which goes 24/7 with politics, fun stuff, and stock talk. So we cover a lot of stocks in there, in the economy as well. So if you would like that, go click that link. But if you don't, that's fine. But please like and subscribe. I appreciate you very much. Alan says the Civil War, Gettysburg was Lee's goal to destroy the Potomac Army. Yeah, that sounds right. Uncle Andy, Arabic numbers are just the numbers we use. That was a joke. Oh, are you serious? Did I get sucked in? Okay, well, see guys? Even I'm imperfect. I got sucked in. Thanks, Uncle Andy, for... You're right. We use Arabic. It's Roman we don't use. I got sucked in. Well, folks, there you go. I was an idiot on this one. We already use Arabic numerals. Okay, well, I get a lot of other stuff right. Okay, guys. Thank you, Andy. Thank you. Thank you for saving me, because if you hadn't called that out, people could use this clip for weeks that I didn't catch myself, and I just look like a moron. Well, there you go, guys. I got duped. See, because the way this was written, I was a little like, oh, and in my head, I was thinking we use Roman numerals, but I didn't stop to think what Roman numerals are. You're right. That's hilarious. Good call, man. You saved me. Oh, I'm editing this out tomorrow. It won't be in this anymore. So you guys who watch live, you get this one. You get to catch this one. Man, that's funny. Well, I feel sheepish. Like I feel like Genie in Aladdin when he gets duped into doing the third wish that it wasn't really a wish from Aladdin. He's like, well, I feel sheepish. That's how I feel right now. Okay, let's move on and forget that ever happened. Okay, Quantus Insights, excellent polling firm and data firm is I'm down to 99.3%. Thanks, D6. I was at 99.7. So, oh well, it happens. But Quantus Insight says today's news of strong growth and cooling inflation gives a powerful signal that 2026 is shaping up economically favorable with declining risk of downturn, improving consumer business sentiment. This is the closest thing to a Goldilocks setup since 2018. That's a big statement right there, because if you guys remember, 2019 was the last year our economy was booming. It was the last year that we legitimately had an economy that felt kind of like the old days. I remember the end of 2018 going into 2019 through 2019. I remember the feeling. It was like it was just easier to make money. It was like people were paying for services. There was just excitement in the air. Things were affordable. And I remember, this is funny because I told my wife that year, and I'll never forget this, just because it sticks in my mind. But before that year, I remember the early, actually it was the middle Bush years, like 2003 through 2006, when I had just was getting out of college, and I was, it was so easy to get a job. It was like I wouldn't like a job, and so I'd leave it, and I would purposely take off a week, and as soon as I wanted a new job, I'd go get one. It was amazing. And I remember just feeling like we could just make money. And it felt that way until about 2007 for the most part. And then in 2008, obviously we had the crash, but it just felt like America, it felt like a land of opportunity. And, I was too young to know what was going on behind the scenes, but on the ground, the economy felt great. And 2019 was that way. And I remember telling my wife in 2019, like, I don't remember an economy this good. I don't remember feeling this good about things since 2004, 2005. I remember telling her that. And so 2019 was awesome. And obviously then COVID hit and we got all this exposure, the cracks of our system, and it's just been a mess ever since. And now we really need a reset. And Trump's resetting it on Main Street, but we're also going to have a financial reset where there's going to be a crash or at least a major correction in the markets, which I still believe is coming here probably fairly soon. But they're talking about the Main Street aspect of things and calling it a setup like 2018, which is heading into 2019, that boom. And that's what I think is coming next year. Today, the Atlanta Fed, which surprised everybody because the the government shutdown, it was projected that was going to hurt the economy at least a percentage, like 1.5% or more. Well, the Atlanta Fed is now projecting 4.2% Q3 GDP. That's wild, guys. That's very high. Over 4% is unheard of. You remember Q2 came in at 3.8%? I think that was Q2. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe so that would be back-to-back quarters over 3.5%. That would be huge. We haven't seen that kind of growth in a long time. So things are moving forward, even though it doesn't quite feel like it yet because the affordability hasn't hit. All the benefits of this growing economy haven't hit yet. But there's always a lag factor in the economy. And so it's coming. I really believe it's coming for next year. And look at this. I mean, the trade deficit is now at $59.6 billion. Guys, it was almost $1 trillion at the beginning of the year. It was $500 billion or $1 trillion, somewhere in that range. It was massive. I think 2024 was one of the worst years we ever had trade deficit wise. And now it's back down under 100 billion. That's huge. Almost like down to 50. So listen, I think we're seeing the turnaround. The tax cuts won't fully hit. The benefits of those tax cuts won't fully hit until everybody does their taxes this year. There's going to be more refunds, but since already said it, there's going to be more businesses paying less in taxes, so they'll have more money left over to invest next year. All that's going to pay a major dividend. We have, in fact, the taxes right now between corporate and personal are the lowest they've been in like 100 years. So yeah, that opens up a lot of road for growth. Trump's deregulation right now is his executive order he signed at the beginning of the term, 10-1. Every new regulation requires getting rid of 10 old ones. Well, in his first term, it was 2. Get rid of 2 regulations for every new one. And that created the boom of 2019. Now it's 10-1. So deregulation, the tax cuts, now especially they're permanent, so businesses can plan further ahead. And then you get the tariffs. And the tariffs, I mean, Saudi Arabia just announced $1 trillion of investment they're going to be putting into the economy. Well, most of that investment, I heard somebody say it really well the other day, is that the investments that Trump's been going to all these countries and claiming and getting, is that behind the scenes what he's telling them is, you guys have been robbing us for years. I want you to pay us back. And I thought that made a lot of sense, why all these countries are offering these huge investments to us. So I know some of it's going to come through in different ways. Don't get me wrong. I know it's not like they're just throwing cash at us for everything, but some of them are. And a place like Saudi Arabia, which has that money, I wouldn't be shocked at all if it's just directly placed in certain businesses over the next year or two. But $1 trillion in investment pledged. Trump's up like something like 20 trillion total from all these different countries. That'll start coming in next year. We don't know how much of it. We don't know what it'll look like, but something's coming in, something substantial. Even if it's 100 billion, that's a lot of money. On top of that, we got the World Cup next year. We have the entire world coming here for the biggest tourist event of every 4 years other than the Olympics, which were the Olympics we get in 2028. So that's a major boom. And then we have all the money going to be spent for all the America 250th anniversary events that will be going on for the whole year. Guys, everything is set up for next year to be a majorly good economic year. And I'm not saying we won't have a bump. I think we're going to go through a little bit of rockiness until it takes off. I think Q1 might be a little rocky. But I think by the end of Q2 next year, coming into Q3 and Q4, we're going to be booming. The economy will be humming along. That's what I expect to happen. We'll see if I'm right. But I tell you, a lot of it is looking good. Bushidoki talking about the old days. You had so much money in the bank. You bought a real estate property. Yeah, those were good times. Alan, you're right. I do have a smart membership. I'm very blessed for that. XRP. Yeah, we'll see, man. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with crypto right now. I think we're about to face a crypto crash, actually, and then we'll see what happens after that. So anyways, all that to say, guys, I'm excited for all the economic stuff. And then speaking of economics, Peter St. Ong, who's like, I think one of the does some of the best work out there on economics, his daily videos. This isn't really about the economy, but it's economics. So I wanted to share what he called out. But he says he's found this out, and I've been telling you guys this. And the reason I want to share this is because this is a guy who is not conspiratorial. This is a guy who's very, milquetoast in his economic leanings. Just kind of a straightforward kind of. He's economically libertarian. He's just like, show me the numbers. And he said this today, which I think really confirms this whole idea of this cabal, deep state Europe, like old English empire kind of nonsense, bankers messing with us, and that the European Union might be our biggest enemy. But he says it right here. Billions from Europe are funding anti-Trump protests, climate change lobbying, and riots, including educating American judges about left-wing causes. What have been the biggest thorn in Trump's side this term so far has been the judges. And he says, we're coming to the point our main foreign adversary isn't Russia, it's the European Union. So I just thought I'd show you guys that to show you, just a glimpse that our real enemy it's becoming more and more obvious who it really is and where it's coming from. And it's this cabal globalist faction out of Europe that's really the pain, causing the most pain, and who we got to take out. So who's created all the traitors here as well. All right. Saudis are all in on XRP, says Dirty Red. Hoping Trump gets the crypto plan waiting. Yeah, so my personal opinion on crypto, and this is my opinion, take it for what it's worth, just by what I'm seeing, it's that crypto seems too tied to the hedge funds and everything right now to take off. And I believe we're going to go through a major correction or a crash. I tell you guys all the time, BAM's model is like screaming for it. And there's a lot of other signs that if NVIDIA's earnings weren't a blowout right now, the economy, the stock market would probably be crashing right now in futures. NVIDIA is seriously holding up the whole stock market. But we'll see how much longer that can last. The AI bubble looks like it's very close to popping. If the AI bubble pops, it's going to take down crypto with it for a time. I don't know how short-lived it'll be. It might be a couple weeks. It might be a few months. Once that sickness purges through our markets, once we go through this major correction or crash we need to go through, that's when I will feel better about getting in on crypto. Right now, I think crypto, and you can see it. You've watched it all year, right? XRP was at like 350 at one point. Now it's down in the low twos. Bitcoin just went under 90,000 today after touching over 120 just a month or two ago. I mean, crypto's already struggling a lot to keep up to where it was. So, but I think the buying opportunity is going to be even better soon. Long term, I agree with you guys. I'm very bullish. Short term, I don't like what I'm seeing, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Portnoy bought 2 million in crypto, so he's doomed it. Oh no. I agree, Redeemed. Hopefully, I do think eventually we will see a lot of new technology. Or not new to us. When will GTI trade? God, I wish I knew, Matthew. I'm so out of that now. Not out of it. My shares are tied up with you guys. I mean, out of the news cycle, because it's just basically whatever Richard or John Forster says, and that's all I have. So, crypto would probably be a totally different deal if Wall Street got, well, that's very true. Yeah. But Wall Street's going to look for any opportunity to get into, where they can make more money, and it's always going to be there. But the problem is that how shady it is. And that's what we got to end, all that. And I'm hoping, my belief, again, this is my theory. We'll see if I'm proven right. My theory is that if we get this major market instability and downturn, that is the time to pounce and make the reforms happen. I hope I'm right. Alan says, you know what needs to start? We need to have America, U.S. judges, no more foreign country judges. Get the start with radio, TV needs to be in a conversation. Are you saying that no foreign-born judges at all in America? I'd be wholeheartedly for that. I personally, it's hard because I do believe immigrants that naturalize can sometimes be the best Americans. My father was an immigrant and he loved this country, loved it. Cubans come over, love this country. The ones, it's almost always the ones for the socialist countries love this country. And those people I want, not as president, but I want them to be able to serve their country they love. I want them to be able to be in places. So I don't know. It's a tough one. It's tough, but I would say like maybe have a very strong test to see who could be it. Stronger than we already do. That's like a test of loyalty. I'd be for that. It's tough because I do, like I said, as a first generation American whose father was an immigrant who taught me to love the country the way I do. If my father had been like a judge, he would have been one of the best ones ever. Or a politician. He would have been, he's more pro-America than most of the people born here. So that's a tough one for me, Alan. I can't go all the way there with you. I'm just too close to it, but yeah, I don't know. What we need to do is ban anybody who's ban anyone who's graduated from a liberal arts college or an Ivy League college. Ban all of them. They're the actual worst ones. But anyways, that'll never happen. All right. Well, guys, I love you. Let's call it a night on this. Please like, share, subscribe before you go. Appreciate you guys. I need to live where, Alan? I'm American. How would you change crypto into gold back? I don't think you ever could. No, I don't think you ever could. It's just going to be a different currency that's not backed by anything. Yeah, I don't see how you do it. You can make the dollar gold back, but I don't see how you can make crypto gold back unless it's a certain crypto just made gold back on purpose. But yeah, I don't know. Real liberal arts are not bad. I know, but okay. I'm kidding. It's the colleges that are bad, not the arts themselves. Anyways, guys, listen, like, subscribe. I will be back on tomorrow. I'm sure things are going to get interesting now that the files are out. We'll see if anything gets listed at all right away. That would be great. Trump did say they had already released 50,000 files, so we'll see if anything trickles out. But anyways, we need to do what we always do, which is end in a prayer, because we definitely need prayers. So, Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless you. God bless everybody here in this chat, Lord. I pray you're with them, you love them, and show them your love, God, by just being there for them and letting them know that they're not alone. Father, we bless this country. We pray for justice and prosperity be brought back to our country, God, in every way, small and big, that, God, by the end of Trump's term, we can all say, like, we got more than we bargained for in a good way out of it. That's what I pray for. I pray for the Trump administration and Trump himself, God, for protection first and foremost, and then wisdom and boldness moving forward. And again, just bless everybody here. Bless their bodies, bless their minds, bless their friendships and their finances, and be with them. And especially whatever we go through, I pray, God, that you help everybody see through the nonsense in media and social media, and God, to just open their eyes to what's really going on, so we can all be Americans together and fight for the better future of our country. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. God bless you guys. Have a good one. Matthew, love you. Thanks for disagreeing respectfully. I appreciate you, man. You're one of the good ones. Alan, love you too. I get what you're saying. I do believe you have to live here to be a judge. Yeah. I didn't know. Were you saying they were going to be, they're actually living somewhere else? Oh, I disagree with that completely. But if they live here and they're fully naturalized and they love this country, yeah, I think they should be able to. And they're, anyways. Good night, Nick. Good night, all you guys. God bless everybody. Thanks for getting in the chat. Thanks for all the great questions and comments. You guys are the best. And I will see you guys in Discord and then back on the show tomorrow. God bless.